Most people haven't realized this, but content is about to change completely in 2026. And the people who can adapt the quickest are going to be the ones dominating the future. So if you're already using live streaming to grow your business, or you're just thinking about doing it, this video might be the most important video you're going to watch this year, because I'm going to show you why you must start live streaming even if nobody's watching, but also the one mistake most people do when they actually start live streaming. So let's get into it. The first reason why you must start live streaming as soon as possible, even if nobody's watching, is that there's a big pendulum swing happening right now. You've probably already noticed it. You've probably seen the change in the content that's out there that's performing, where it's going from this over-the-top edited motion graphics everywhere, just a bunch of stuff going on, to a much more authentic type of content where people are sitting just like this, just talking, or people out walking with their phone doing like a FaceTime style video. Let me actually show you what this looks like. As I said, the pendulum is swinging, and you've probably noticed right over here we have the hyper style, where it's just like hyper edited, hyper polished and scripted, everything that used to perform very well, especially in the educational space. And right now here we have the more authentic style, which is performing a lot more now. The more authentic style where, like I said, you see people walking with the phone doing FaceTime style videos on Instagram, YouTube, people just sitting, talking, not much editing going on. This more authentic content style is happening because people are craving that human connection, that authenticity that kind of got lost with the hyper editing style over here, because people were just doing so much and they were able to kind of mask the fact that they were really saying nothing. And as with everything, pendulum swings, right? So right over here, what do we have next? We have live. And the reason why, this is the most authentic, most realist form of content you can create, because it's actually live. So if you think about this authentic one down here, right? What is it supposed to mimic? In contrast from the hyper edited one, and then we went over here, it was supposed to be kind of more like you just sitting with the person, them just talking to you, not talking down on you, not trying to preach, not trying to teach, but more like you're sitting in a room with them, you're just having a conversation with them, you're kind of just there, and it's much more natural. It's a much more authentic way. That's supposed to replicate what live actually is, because what is live streaming? That's the real type of content where it's like you are actually in the room with them. The authentic type of content is meant to mimic that. But once that's no longer enough, once everybody's doing that, the only next step is that people then start live streaming, because that's the only way you're going to get that real authenticity. And the reason why this is the case is because of the lack of trust. Trust is at an all-time low right now. The trust recession is a very common phrase right now. And since trust is going down the drain, you need something to combat that as a business owner, especially because if you're trying to sell something, you need trust in order for them to buy. If they don't trust you, it doesn't matter how good your product is, they're not going to take that leap of faith. And you used to be able to just create content, and that will be enough to stand out and to communicate that you are a real expert that can actually help people. But that kind of changed because tons of these guys down here came in. This guy right here. Because literally anybody these days can become or seem like an expert, at least, because they just got a ChatGPT subscription, so they can have the same information as the expert, and then they just regurgitate that information, or they use it to take whatever the experts are saying and just copy their script. So the barrier to entry has gone below surface level, and the gates are wide open. So we have tons of these guys right here just walking straight in. And now that everybody is an expert or seems like an expert, and they're all trying to get the same clients, they're all fighting for the same spots, it's just complete red ocean. And it makes it very, very difficult for the real experts to actually stand out. Because even if you are special, even if you are saying things a little bit different and you have more expertise and your clients get a little bit more results, it's very, very difficult for the audience to spot you out. So you must be able to find a different way, find a way to stand out from the crowd and show that you are the wolf. And this is ultra important, because the next step and the second reason why you must start live streaming, even if nobody is watching, is the fact that AI is taking over completely. I'm not just talking about people using AI to copy your scripts and to copy what works by copying each other and everybody just making the same content. I'm talking about people actually using AI to create content. So the other day I was scrolling on Instagram, as you do sometimes, and I saw one of those little podcast clips, those mock podcasts, where the person is, sitting right there acting like it's a real podcast. And it was a girl, and I don't remember what she was saying, but just something told me to click on the video. So I did. And then when I clicked on it, I saw it only have 5 or 6 posts, and I noticed that it was actually AI. So it was a fake podcast, but it looked real. I didn't even notice it in the beginning. And then I realized, damn, people are going to use these AI gurus, AI coaches, AI influencers to start selling info products very quick because they can just prompt content. And AI has all the information, so you don't even have to be an expert anymore. You can just create AI content. And if you are a person with a personal brand and you're trying to compete on volume, which is very important, and quality, which is very important as well, it's going to be very difficult to compete against an AI that can just be prompt content when you have to create content. It just can grab the information while you have to think, okay, what do I actually want to teach in this video? And in terms of the actual content creation, AI is not that great yet, but they're going to be because they're learning. So you have to find a way where if you're not in that AI space, if you are, just utilize that as a good opportunity. If you're not and you're trying to build a personal brand, find a way not to compete with it. Because if you go head to head, you're going to lose. You got to come in from a different angle. And I believe from what I've seen that different angle is live streaming. Let me actually show you what I mean. So we have 3 different types of content. And usually that's short form, long form, live. Now, short form content, like I just said, is already in big trouble because people are creating these AI influencers, AI coaches, and they're going to use them to make money. And also I've seen people working on like AI presenters where it will be, let's say me, my face, my voice, and it will just make the content for me. So I don't have to create the content. I'll just prompt it. And that works until everybody's doing it. And it works if you have a big brand. But if you're trying to come up, if you're trying to build a big brand and solidify your name in whatever space you're in, it's going to be very difficult to compete in that regard. So short form content pretty much is already out. I'm going to actually make this back. It's pretty much already done. And it's not as effective as it used to be because everybody's doing it. And it's so easy to make good quality short form content. Now, long form content is a little bit of the same, but it's not as much yet because it's not as easy for AI to create long form content because it's longer form content, much more variables to it. But they are here. Like we've seen the faceless, the pop up of the faceless YouTube channel, and they make money too. But I don't think it's really going to take over yet because it's just so much more difficult. And we are still in that authentic part of the pendulum swing. We haven't completely left it yet towards live. So it's still okay, but it will probably start losing its effectiveness probably within a year once AI grows a little bit more and start being able to actually reproduce, is that a weird word? Produce content. The last one, live streaming. And I'm gonna make this one green because it's that good. The only type of content where AI can't replace you, at least for a very, very long time. Because AI can't go live. And the fake gurus using ChatGPT to write their scripts, they can't go live because they will get exposed. They won't be able to actually teach. But the people who let's say are a coach or consultants or have any type of educational information business, they have that knowledge and they can talk about their area of expertise for hours on end. If they're on coaching calls, if they're on group calls, if they're just having conversations with their friends, they can keep going and they can provide tons of value. But the fake, less experienced guru guys have more difficulty doing that. And the same with AI. It can't really go live because it's live. No one knows what's happening when you go live. It's unpredictable. Like AI can't do this, right? Because it's live. It's real. So that's why live streaming, until we have like real fucking robots that can actually go live, this is probably the only content solution that you have. And what is going to happen is that once these other two die out, everybody is going to start coming towards live streaming, because once short form is completely dead and nobody want to watch it because it's just AI slop everywhere and you can't get clients from it, what we're going to see is everybody is going to move towards long form. Now everybody gets moved towards long form and that space becomes too crowded. Now everybody moves to live streaming. Now the third reason, and maybe the most important reason why you must start live streaming even if nobody's watching yet, it is because it is a leverage content strategy. And what I mean is most people know that volume is very important in today's market in order to succeed. So they crank out as much volume as they can and they batch record 30 reels at a time and 40 YouTube videos at a time. And that works to some extent. But the problem with that is that if you are a business owner, you probably got into business because of business, or because maybe you were passionate about fitness or whatever you might be helping people with. But you probably didn't get into it to create content. It's probably not the thing you're looking forward to the most in your week. So when you have the time set aside, once that Saturday comes around, you're going to do the content, but you're not going to enjoy it. And people can feel it. not from like a weird spiritual type of thing, but you're going to create content because that's what you need. That's what you believe you need to do in order to grow your business. So you're doing it to generate sales, and people can feel the commission breath. You're giving your value, you're giving your 3 tips in order to give your CTA, hoping that people buy your stuff. People feel that. And they feel the fact that you sat down and spent time you didn't really want to record for a couple hours, to make videos that's supposed to bring value, that's supposed to create reciprocity, but you're just doing it to get sales. Now, the biggest people, let's say the biggest entrepreneurs in the game, the ones with the big, enormous personal brands that seems almost impossible to compete with, those who have the trust of the majority, those people look towards for answers. They don't seem like they want to sell you all the time. And why is that? It's because they're not creating content to sell you. They're not creating short-form content with a CTA at the end of it. Most of the time, they're not even creating content at all. They are leveraging content that so happen to be recorded. So that usually comes in 3 forms. It is real-life events, so masterminds, seminars. Now, the second one is podcast interviews. So people who have a lot of authority, they get invited to podcasts, they go on a little podcast run. The third one is live streaming, because they go live to do like a live Q&A. People ask them questions, and they'll just have tons of content they can repurpose on all platforms. So here's what it looks like in actual comparison. So you can see what you might be doing wrong if you're over here on the left side, and what maybe you should be doing if you're really trying to scale in 2026 and moving forward. So here's what most people do. They want to create some content. They want to grow their business. So they scroll on social media to find a content idea. Then they go on to use AI to copy somebody else's script, or to write a script with them, write a script for them. And then they record one video at a time. They edit that video, they post that video. They do that every single day. So one idea to create one reel, hoping that will get you one sale. A very linear process. Now let me show you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a leveraged content strategy. Here we can also take one idea, but instead of taking that one idea and creating a reel off of it, you push that idea towards a live stream. And of course, just like with the reels, you want to create sales as well from the actual live stream. But what also happens is that you can have your team go in and extract pieces of content from the live stream. So there can be long form content, there could be YouTube videos, podcast episodes, or graphics, little screenshots, snapshot moments that can be turned into carousels, or short form clips for social media, written posts from the transcript. So let's say that what we are talking about here is leverage. Because over here, right, if we look at content in input and output, and in units, so you can have an idea, and you have one idea and you turn it into one reel. That's a symmetrical return, 1 for 1. Now over on the other side, you can have one idea, and you can spend, let's say, 1 hour on coming up, finding that video idea, writing the script, recording the video, editing and posting. That might take you 1 hour. Same thing over here. You might go live for 1 hour, but that 1 hour live stream will then be able to give you maybe one long form video. So you have one long form video. I would probably take 20 long form videos before a short form videos, probably something like that. So that's probably 20 instead of 1. So you have 1 and you get 20 out. Maybe you get 2 carousels. So I have 22 shorts from 1 hour live stream. You can probably get 6 at least. So you have, I'm gonna write reels because I like Instagram, 6 reels. So you have 28 now. Probably 1 written post. So I'm just writing 1 over here. 29 pieces of content, or 29 units from 1 hour input. So you get 29x compared to over here, where you only get 1 for 1. So most people are just doing this over and over again, this every day. They keep running this loop. And that's why they feel like they never have time. That's why they feel like they can't grow sustainably, because it just takes too much effort. They're not trying to be a content creator. They're trying to grow a business. But over here, you can apply the same input, but it's a much more leveraged content strategy, where you as the business owner just have to go live, and then you can let the team, your team, or somebody else go in and extrapolate that content and edit and post it for you. So it's much more time effective. And this whole system, we call this the content streaming system, because we are live streaming to get the sales, but we're also doing it to get all of this content. And if you want someone who can do this for you and implement this system in your business, so all you have to do is go live, and then somebody else takes care of everything. There's a link to work with me and my team in the video description below. Now, the one thing that most people do wrong when they actually start live streaming is that they do it unintentionally. So the beautiful thing about live streaming and content streaming is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be this presenter reading a script, trying to figure out the best thing to say and provide value before people scroll to the next video. People are choosing to invest that time with you. And they're actually there for that more imperfect type of content, the more authentic, the more human connection. They want that, but they also still want the value. So still have a plan. Don't just go live for 45 minutes and just ramble talking about nothing and then maybe answering some questions. You won't get a lot out of it. You need to be very strategic as well, just like you would with anything else if you're expecting to get results from it. Now that you know that the pendulum is swinging and you probably need to start live streaming as soon as possible. You might be thinking, but how do I actually do this strategically so I actually can get sales? Watch this video now where I show you the exact system that I use for all my clients to guarantee sales every single time.